that Google shirt to my interview because I said everything is about mindset and presence. I felt more googly and confident than ever by wearing the actual Google shirt to my interview. Welcome. My name is Safiya Jihan. Welcome to my new series, Elevation. And today, episode 1, we're going to dive into how I dress my way into rooms I was not invited into. So a little bit about me. I am a proud daughter of Jamaican parents, Joan and Winston Miller, that immigrated to the States when they were in their late teens to Brooklyn, New York. That's where I was born. Moved down to sunny St. Petersburg, Florida, and that's where I grew up from age 2 all the way until high school. And I loved my sunshine roots, but I was so obsessed with getting back to the Northeast, and I had my eyes set on Ivy Leagues, largely because my mom was always talking about Oxford and higher education, particularly just stretching myself to my extremes, to my extreme potential. And I did the International Baccalaureate program in high school, and that program was hard, okay? It was a lot of long nights, a lot of phone calls to my girl, Kenitra Irby, one of my besties. We went through that program together, and it stretched me in the best way possible. It stretched me so much that I said, I have the belief that I can get into at least one of these Ivy Leagues, because the way I was working so hard in high school, I said, for sure, I'm gonna be prepared to go to one of these Ivy Leagues. So that, honestly, that confidence, that faith within myself, one scripture that stuck with me early on was, I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me, right? That scripture from Philippians really was in the root of my soul and kind of enveloped this whole optimistic, glass half full spirit that I carry with me today. And I put that energy into walking into new rooms. You'll see here, this photo of me and my girl, Tanya, who inspired me through the undergraduate minority recruitment program, meeting her, going to Harvard early that summer before my senior year. And I met her and I said, oh my gosh, not only are these people intelligent, they're actually down to earth. And I really connected with her. And the reason I was able to enter that room that traditionally we are not invited into, right? I shared a little bit about my background, but I didn't come from a lot of money. Actually, I was on free lunch and we were scraping by. I didn't realize it because I had so much love, so much community support around me. But when I think about the actual economic resources to pay for an Ivy League education, that was on the books for me. But I did not let that allow me to slow me down or to make me feel like I was not able to still enter into these spaces. The need-based admission and aid definitely was a lever reset for me and helped accelerate me in honestly not taking on a lot of debt, which a lot of people have to do after college, especially if you're going to some of these larger and universities that have a bigger price tag. So I bring this hat up because it is a good anchor to talk about how I dressed for the rooms I wanted to be in. I did not have a seat at the table. No one handed me a seat at the table, but I went in with the most important thing you can be dressed in, which is what? Actually, I guess there's 2 things. Faith, dressed in confidence. That is going to take you so far because your beliefs, your mindsets are the true ways to unlock your potential. In any room you enter, you are your best advocate. You know your story, you know your worth. And when you walk into a room and bring in that confidence, you step out on faith, trust me, you are going to unlock more opportunities than you could have ever imagined. To apply to these top universities, I stepped out on faith, I stepped in with confidence. Stepping out on faith and step in with confidence. That is the first way to dress and enter any room. Forget if you have a seat at the table. You will get one with those 2 keys. I'll tell you how I did it another way. So fast forward. So Harvard undergrad, graduated from high school in 2005, graduated from Harvard in 2009 with a psychology degree and a foreign language citation in Spanish, and was running around where everybody was going. It was either to finance or to consulting. And I did some time there, and it gave me the experience of a lifetime. Go to movements and initiatives and to uplift underrepresented students into helping them with their dreams. And again, still in work abroad at City or Shitibenki. I lived in Jardines. I got to learn Carnival. I got to learn the language. I learned about how to launch a go-to-market plan from corporate from the US and bring that to an emerging market country. BRIC was a big thing. I learned so much in that experience, but when I looked around at the table, I didn't see many women, definitely not many women of color, but 2, I also recognized that, hey, if I'm gonna give myself the best shot and chance possible, and if I can do it without any financial burden, meaning getting a scholarship, I'm gonna go back and get another degree. And this is at the height of Sheryl Sandberg's Lean In movement. And she shared how you didn't need another degree, you know, to make it. But I'm like, if I can get one, it can't hurt to have one. So fast forward, I decided to apply to get my MBA. I'm studying for the GMAT like a crazy person with my books on the beach. And my Brazilian friend's like, what are you doing, Safi? Like, you already went to Harvard. So no, it's different in the States, you know. Undergrad, graduate school, it's a whole different paradigm. Okay, yeah, they're like, I still don't know what you're talking about, but okay, do you? So I am studying, and I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of an amazing support through a program called MLT, Management Leadership for Tomorrow, their MBA prep program. My coach, Wendy Dukes, is amazing, and she said, you're gonna keep on applying. You're like, don't give up on yourself. And I applied, and I was fortunate to get a full ride Park Fellowship to Cornell University. And you know that fellowship and that program must be right, because I love sunny Sao Paulo, Brazil, for cold Ithaca, New York. And I loved it. I did love my experience there. I felt like I made the right decision because it was a space for me to focus. And again, it's like, I'm really not trying to add on debt if I don't have to. And I applied to the consortium, and I go to their consortium orientation program, Consortium OP. It's in New Orleans, and a company reaches out to me before I even get to Cornell, and it's Google. I think they reached out to me on LinkedIn. I'm like, okay, so we didn't talk about this. I went back, after I left City, I applied. All my applications were about entrepreneurship. I will start my own business. So I applied to some MPA and MBA programs, some Masters in Public Administration and the MBA, or just straight MBA programs. And I am focused on trying to figure out, like, how do I make this business work, how to make it pop, coming back to the States. And then Google reaches out to me through this consortium program. I'm like, well, I was never really thinking about Google, but maybe I'll meet some engineers and they can help me build out my product. And I'm like, okay, well, how do I prepare myself? How do I prepare myself to enter this room that I was traditionally not invited to, if you look on paper, I guess, although it looks like my international background and working abroad definitely helped me stand out. And the way I entered that room, let me tell you, early programs where they have like networking and receptions, and I went to the Google one, and I was excited because I was gonna go interview the next day, and I saw they had swag in there, and I picked up some swag. I'm like, this is great. You think I packed that in my suitcase? I wore that swag. I wore that Google shirt to my interview because I said everything is about mindset and presence. I felt more googly and confident than ever by wearing the actual Google shirt to my interview, and that confidence propelled me through that Google shirt. Just stepping out of my comfort zone, trying something different, this innovative tech company. I'm like, let me bring my full self, my quirky self, my badassness, my boss level confidence to this full interview. And I wore that Google shirt, and I came in proud, I came in confident, I came in thorough with what I could bring to the table from my sales experience at Citi and how that could translate into the tech ecosystem with my Google shirt on, and I got a full-time offer. So sometimes you just have to wear it, okay? You have to wear where you see yourself, wear that confidence, wear that outfit, wear that mindset and how you see yourself in the future, how you're showing up to those goals. You can own that already. You don't have to wait for anybody to give that to you, right? So that's the second story that I shared about dressing into rooms that you're not necessarily invited to. For me, style and strategy, style and confidence all go together. And I felt like as I continued to rise in my collegiate studies, rise in corporate America, especially for women, I felt like it was stifled. It's like you can only show up in one way. You can only show up, wear my black, wear my navy blue, wear my hair in a certain way, diminish how and who I am to make others feel comfortable. And look, I get it. Sometimes until you're in a certain place, yeah, maybe you have to play some things safe. But in general, when you are a boss, when you have something special, you can be taken seriously and not diminish everything and all of that creativeness of who you are. I personally believe everybody has a power color. Color's your friend. I feel like so many people are scared of color is your friend. Once you find the right color palette, the right color tone to accentuate, whether it's your makeup, whether it's your suit, your dress, whether it's the shoes, like when you find that special thing that makes you confident, excited to walk into a room, because you're ready and you are excited about how you feel in your body, trust me, it brings a whole nother light to the conversation. It brings a whole nother light to the world, to the opportunities that you're about to embrace. So for me, style was always a part of the strategy, not separate from it, not an afterthought. And that's what I hope to try to elevate my audience. How do you make style not the afterthought? It's a part of the strategy. It's a part of how you show up. That draws people in. They want to know the real you. Where'd you get those earrings? I got them in Saint-Tropez, this amazing wedding I went to. Where is this lip? It's from a amazing female entrepreneur. Her company is called The Lip Bar. She was turned down from Shark Tank and is now in so many stores. She's running things. She has so many great mattes, particularly for people with dark pigmentation that just make you pop, right? These things tell stories or other ways to engage, and you can still go back to the business of what you were trying to deliver. It's just another talking point again, but it helps you feel like your full confident self. So about elevation, this episode is around how do you elevate? How do you get into rooms that you're not invited into? When you walk in, that first impression, before you say a word, is critical. I think it's the first 7 seconds of someone meeting you, they've already made a decision about who you are, what your worth is, what you bring to the table. So your style has to be a part of your strategy on how you show up. Can't be an afterthought. Don't let people fool you. It cannot be an afterthought. How you look, how you present yourself is definitely a part of how you execute and bring your vision to life. It's how people experience who you are. It's the first thing they see, because we are humans, right? And we work with all of our 5 senses, right? So remember, your style is a part of your strategy. You're building on a business strategy, trust me, those 2 things need to be linked. Okay, so tell me in the comments, what's a room you want to walk into? Like, we're almost halfway through the year. We're almost halfway through 2026. Tell me in the comments, what's a room you want to walk into? And let's start to build towards those rooms together. Your girl, Safiya Jihan. I'm trying something new here. Thank you for staying with me for so many years. I want to share more about my background, more about my journey. Tell me what you want to learn more about. Again, I'm trying to marry a lot of these things that get me excited, that get me fired up, that are just naturally things that I love. I want to share more of these gems with other people. I want to expand my impact and not live in 50 different silos. Like, how do I bring these things together? And I thought about it more, and I think that this is a great way to do it, a great new avenue. So expect more content like this from me. And again, in the comments, let me know what you're thinking, what you'd like to see more of, what kind of rooms you want to enter, and let's build together. All right, beijos. Ciao.